Hello, I'm Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to show you what is in the Joyful Hearts Slow Stitching Kit. First, we're going to flip through. This is your pattern, so it gives it what's all in the kit, as well as patterns for 4 different hearts shapes and sizes that you can cut out, because the kit includes the instruction booklet, 2 needles, 3 straight pins, 3 skeins of embroidery floss, which vary in color, 8 squares of backing fabric, and that's for you to cut your hearts out of, a collection of fabric pieces, 5 stamped fabric words, and the stuffing to complete 4 hearts. This may not look like much, but I've compressed it down pretty good, and actually I'm thinking about getting a food saver thing and actually making compressed stuffing so it's easier to mail out. You also have your instruction booklet, which I'm not going to really go through. And let me grab what's inside the kit. When you get your kit, it'll arrive like this with the stuffing. And so you'll take this out. And it's exactly like I showed you. It's the booklet with the instructions. And then you'll have all of your supplies in here. I have pre-cut all of your supplies. I have a pack that I've not packaged up, and I'm going to go through it with you to show you what types of things that you get in this Joyful Hearts kit. There are a couple of different ways you can order it. You can order it with everyday fabric, or you can order it with Christmas fabric. And Christmas fabric is in the process. I'm in the process of making them up, and so those will be, I don't have one to show, but it'll basically, instead of being everyday fabric, it'll mostly be reds and greens and Christmas themed fabric. But you have a little felt needle holder with 2 needles and 3 straight pins. I really don't use the straight pins that often, but some people like to hold it down. Like I said, you get 3 skeins of embroidery floss. Here are your words, and the words vary from each kit as well, and they are hand stamped with permanent archival ink, so they won't wash off. But this little project's probably not going to get washed. And there'll be different small pieces of fabric. Like I have little squares, little hexagons. Basically, it's going to be a mixture of squares. Think of it as if you have a unlimited little stash of fabrics that you can use. There are strips. So if you wanted to do a striped heart, there's also lots of little pieces. There's actually more fabric here than you need to create 4. You can probably get 5 out of it, out of all the little pieces. But my goal here was to give you lots of selection. And I always try to add fabric with numbers, whether it be actual number fabric or the salvage edge of fabric, because I really do like the salvage edge, salvage, however people call it. A lot of them have the color numbers for the fabric or either letters or words, and I really like using those in my pieces as well. Yeah, so you got some neutrals, some brights, you get all little pieces, big pieces. The whole point of this project is that it has everything you need to create 4. So all you have to do is supply the scissors. So you have 8 squares of fabric, which means 2 per heart, and you can choose any of the patterns. They all work on this square of fabric. And so you cut out your patterns and you can cut out your fabric. But all of that instructions are in the book. So now I'm going to grab some of the finished ones that I've created to let you see what you can create with this kit. Here is a collection of some of the hearts that I have made. I have gifted some, but here's the collection that I've made that I have so far. And this is what I'm working on, and you can see how I used the selvage. So if your kit comes with selvage, you know, this is how I've added the selvage. And I've actually sewed all the backing pieces first, added this little selvage, added the words and the background fabric around the words. And I was taught that your back side of your work needs to look as neat as the front. It's not as perfectly neat, but it is pretty neat. One of my tips I will tell you, I use these little 4x6 photo holders to carry my projects in. So most of the time I'll put a few little pieces of fabric, my cutout heart, my scissors, and some of my floss in there as well. That's just a little tip. But yeah, so this is one that I did where I used strips going this way and a big piece strip coming down. So there's all different ways you can do this. There's like strips going across here. This is actually a piece of vintage quilt top that my grandmother had that she didn't finish. And so is this one, and so is this one. But the words, this is what started the whole thing. I was making these and I wanted to give them as gifts. These are actually going to family members because, like I said, these were from my grandmother's quilts. But pieces like this are ones that I give friends. People, you know, if a friend is going through something or I feel like they need a gift to cheer them up, these are my joyful hearts. And so this one has another piece of selvage and then the word hope. And yeah, that's how this one works. And I actually did some little echo stitching around the circles here. So you can do whatever you want. Any kind of stitching, seed stitch. I do like to go along the edge of each fabric. I didn't do it here. I left this a little raw because once it gets handled, it will start getting that raw edge along each one of them. But yeah, it's really fun. It's a fun process. I do not stitch on the back. You can stitch your initials on the back if you want to let people know who made them or, you know, that kind of thing. So but yeah, I hope you enjoy this kit. There is a link in the description box below to order these. And like I said, there's either an everyday fabric or a Christmas fabric. The everyday fabric will be a mix of new and vintage fabrics. I have a large collection of vintage fabrics and I'll never use them. Like these two pieces are part of are vintage. These are new. This is new. This is new. So if you look, this is a combination, and how I worked with this one was to make the yellow coordinate. The yellow is a little bit different than this color, but what I did is I found a pink that ties the whole thing together. So your kits are ready to use and ready to enjoy and share the joy with someone else or keep them. Like I said, some of these this one has peace, love, trust, and beautiful hope. And you can actually cut this one out if you wanted to and just have it say beautiful. But each one of them have a different letters, different fabric, and different color floss on the inside. So let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing what you create with your Joyful Hearts slow stitching kit. See you soon.